doing its stuff.
Moving.
Yep. Hello and welcome to the Legends of Tabletop podcast. We are getting ready to jump into Runners. We're in our third season, right? Is that what this is?
Yeah.
48th system.
Who's
93rd
counting?
iteration.
Yeah. All right, I'm just going to kick it over to you. We'll get a recap and we'll do some stuff.
All right. So last time, you all fled Ingram. You kind of got yourselves recharged as best as you could. Also grabbed a couple of spare parts just in case. I think you grabbed an extra battery, and yeeted yourselves out of there. Before you got caught again officially. Yet again, partially thanks to Briston and Smokey's quick talking and smooth actions. So you managed to get out of Ingram, and you decided your best chance is to try to run to under the bridge. It's basically the closest, safest spot you know. So you began to run, made it to the mall, where you couldn't go under the mall anymore through the tram system like you used to. So instead, you actually had to go through the mall. You did manage to navigate yourself pretty safely and efficiently through there. Making your way through the crisscrosses and maze-like hallways of this dilapidated megastructure. But you, Smokey, did pick up bleeps of signal along the way and getting stronger as you went through. Eventually culminating in a massive wave of users flooding towards you. You did manage to make it out of the mall, mostly safely and intact, but with several of the unlinked and reds literally tsunamiing out of the side of the glass of the structure.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. With a handful of them stopping and surveying. You, Huxley kind of went against his better judgment and decided that these people were not able to be helped. And you continued along your way, eventually finding your way to under the bridge. When you got there, though, things seemed a little bit different, with the similar trappings before of the markings on the ground and the familiar kill box area that you were used to. But you were welcomed not by the scruffy kind of thrown together people that were there before, but on a more official basis. And when you had your greeter come out, it was a person in a somewhat scratched up, somewhat used, but at the same time very well taken care of runner suit, with a helmet that did not match, that looked almost brand spanking new. And you did see the LLI symbol on the shoulder.
So a meta question, because obviously we've seen this a couple of times. We've interacted, doing heavy lifting with the interacted, but do we have any sense of, like, are we on their radar?
Whose radar?
The LLI folks, right? Like, I guess at least Huxley's assuming that they come from Zane, because at least one of the guys was a clone from there. Marla was not I mean, guess technically a clone, but like didn't like I guess thought she was the only one before she went crazy, murdered her other clone. So we know they kind of come from there. So like I'm just trying to get the sense of like when as we approach this and they come out, obviously like, oh shit, like it's these guys. But would we have the sense of like, oh, this is bad for us because they either know us or are looking for us?
Well, how about this? I'm going to give you. Why don't you give me a brains check? So you're going to give me a brains test. With an edge. So it's going to bring it from a 5 to a 4.
Okay. I got a 6.
6. All right. So you ask, is basically I'm going off of, is this bad for you? Like, are you on their radar? Is this bad? Does this feel a bad situation? Right? I'm going to give you this. You know exactly who this is.
Oh, shit. Okay.
This is Jansen Wells.
Is this the guy I killed?
The guy you thought you killed. Yes.
Okay.
Last time you saw him, same suit, different helmet.
Oh, okay. He's the guy that we left and then he disappeared.
Yes.
Okay.
And he has your edge is that he has almost a sickly sadistic tone to his voice right now.
Okay. I think like as that realization hits Huxley, he blanches a little bit and then like he keys the comms to like internal, so it's just with these two guys. That's the guy that we let you like we because that other kid, but like he was the guy that we left, and then you remember when we came back and he disappeared. That's him. He's got a new helmet.
Is it him or is it a him? I guess is the question, right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. He doesn't seem real happy right now.
I guess it's him then. Smokey will look around and get like if he's not happy, then let's make sure he's really not happy at the end of this. So just get ready and get prepared.
Okay. And he just kind of like looks around like, what the fuck we're gonna do?
Yeah. I think Zuchy butts in and says like, well, now I don't know if we want to go pissing anybody off right now. Maybe, we're kind of on their turf, so we better kind of like maybe watch what we're saying, because we want to try to avoid something if we can. I know it probably won't be a thing that we'll be able to avoid any physicality or anything like that, but let's try to tread a little lightly here.
Let's act dumb then. So trust me, I can do that really well. So let's just pretend that whatever happened before isn't anything that affects us, and let's just try to get our way in then.
All right, so he'll come over speakers and say, "You all want to follow me now," and he'll kind of take a couple of steps back towards the door and then blade up to you, like almost like stepping aside slightly to let you through.
I will wave my arm and usher Huxley and Zuchy in first and just keep an eye on Jensen as they go by.
I think as we walk towards him, I kind of veer away, right, to go through the door, but like I'm not going to walk right past him. I kind of walk, you see somebody walking down the sidewalk or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think Zuchy will probably be on on his side that breaks the two of them up just because he doesn't want anything to happen.
Nice. Yeah, so as you walk through, there is that airlock situation where there's a short, probably 6 foot long corridor. So you have those large iron doors on the outside, as well as a matching iron set of doors on the inside. And on the inside of the airlock, there is also 2 suited guards, each with rifles standing there. And they're just kind of back up against the door, or back up against the wall, flanking the doors. And then you can see halfway through this area, this almost enlarged metal detector looking structure that was not there before.
Is there, do we notice anything? How long has it been since we've been here in game terms? A couple of months?
Been a couple of weeks.
It was that long.
Yeah, maybe 3 weeks
seems
at
like
the
it, but
longest.
Yeah. Does it look like it's been disturbed, or they're like, like shots?
This is reactive to defense.
Blood stains.
It looks still as maintained as it was before. It doesn't look like there was, there's no stains, there's no bullet holes, there's no nothing.
Okay.
The only change basically is the addition of this sensor.
Okay.
All right. So as you guys begin to walk through, one of the guards keeps his post. The other one, as he sees you coming, takes up lead in front of you, Smokey, and just kind of, reaches over, hits a button on his arm, and his speakers come on, and he says, "Follow me, sir," and he'll walk through. And as he goes through this, archway, basically very similar to a metal detector, he goes through, and you hear a ping sound, and a green light shows up above the archway. And he continues to walk through to the other door.
What's Jensen doing?
He's once the three of you pass through him or pass by him, he will follow you into the room.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pass.
He's kind of just like standing in the doorway right now, waiting for you all to go through.
Yeah, blocking our escape. Yeah, I'll go through. I mean, we're kind of stuck. So he does kind of like look up and around as he's passing through. Like, what is this for?
What's our marching order right now?
I guess me in the front.
Yeah, I would think so. And Smokey in the back, just kind of hanging around Jensen, just keeping an eye on him. Sure,
sounds good. Yeah, so Huxley, as soon as you go through. So as soon as Huxley goes through the detector, you hear and a red light goes up on top of it.
I didn't do anything.
And immediately no weapons drawn on you or anything, but the guard in front immediately turns around, and you see him, reach down, tap a button on his arm, and his visor is clear, right? So you can see in, but you can see that he's talking, but you cannot hear him.
I think he just like puts his hands up, like, what is that, Chris Pine in the fucking Jurassic Park movie? I didn't do it. I walked through.
So do we on our comms? I'll just say, Stop acting guilty. If you act guilty, they'll think you're guilty.
But I didn't do anything.
It's all
And
good.
so Jansen will come over and say, well, I guess that's why we weren't able to sense you coming in.
He's just like,
yeah, look around.
If you three wouldn't mind turning your locators back on, that would be a great help for us.
I
Turn our
look at
locators off.
I look at Smokey.
Did we specifically turn them off, Jesse, last time? I don't remember.
When you first got into Ingram on the elevator, Huxley disabled your transmitters.
That sounds like something I might do.
Well, Smokey will shrug, and then he'll put on like the internal comms again and says, well, we're not in Ingram, so you might as well turn them back on, right?
Oh, okay. And he'll, pull up the thing on his wrist or do whatever he's got to do to reactivate the signal.
I'll Smokey will smack Huxley on the shoulder and say, look, if we turn the locators on and someone wants to come and find us, at least we have a bit of a heads up, hey, and kind of smack him on the arm.
Well, I don't think they'd find us all the way out here. I don't even know if they know about this place.
Yeah, I think we're good. Flip the switch.
And so, yeah, once you do that, Zuchy goes through and bloom, green light. Smokey goes through, bloom, green light. And then once you're all through, Jensen takes a step in and nods to the guard next to him, and that guard will go on a button, and the whole back door will close through.
So I'll say to Jensen, so what's with the new metal detector here? Something happened to want you guys to put this in?
Well, this is just to make sure that everybody coming through here is supposed to be here. Been having some issues with rogue runners lately, let's say.
Smokey will start laughing. Yeah, there's been a problem with those, haven't there? Because wasn't Jensen a rogue runner?
I think so, yeah. From our perspective, right? I guess we don't really know, yeah.
Smokey's going to be a bit of a smart ass to see if a Jensen or this Jensen kind of reacts to that. So this is like the dogs in Terminator, right? You got to have the dogs because they can sniff out.
And so, yeah, once that back door closes completely, moment later, you hear the grinding of the gears as that door in front of you breaks open.
Huxley howls like a Wookiee on Hoth.
Yeah. And the guard in front will wave you on in.
Okay, that's good.
Huxley does so like timidly, right? He kind of like looks and like sort of takes a step, and he's kind of shuffling, like he's trying to be small, even though the suit is big and we're surrounded and they say it's right. He's just
yeah. And once that breaks open, you begin to, and you take a few steps into under the bridge, and you're hit with those familiar vibrations of all of the machinery and everything around you just chugging in this, fairly narrow and intensely tall structure. So, you have all the generators running and all of this machinery going, that even with your helmets on, you can like feel the vibration throughout your suit.
Do we see anybody walking around? Does it seem as active as it was the last time we were here, or
not quite as active? There are still plenty of people walking around, but it seems less chaotic. Before it was, very much a lot of people just kind of milling about, walking around, gesturing to each other. This seems less, it seems a little more organized and a little, I don't necessarily want to say less populated, because that implies that like there's less people here, but it seems that there is less people milling about, let's say.
right? Like they could all be working or eating or sleeping
Yeah.
in their shifts or whatever.
Right. Before there was actually people hanging around. There's nobody hanging around anymore.
He's negging them up, so he's got them all working. I mean, not that Huxley knows that, but yeah, I don't think Huxley would say anything. He's trying to be as small as possible in space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, they usher you in, and as soon as you do, you go in. The guard stays behind. Jansen follows you through, and as soon as he comes in, he kind of walks off to this, like almost like a little guard post area off to the side that was there before. And you see him, he goes over, and then the whole suit kind of relaxes, and the back of it opens up, and he actually steps out of the suit. And so he steps out, basic clothes on. He's got kind of like almost not like jogger pants on, right? Like a thin, almost like polyester pant. And one of those like a lycra workout shirt type thing. Very similar to what Mara was wearing. And then you see him too. He actually has like little ear plugs in as well.
Where did he get shot? I don't remember. Did he get shot in the chest?
I believe he got beat up by Smokey and Zuchy and knocked out that way. It was the other guy. It was the sniper guy that you actually shot in the head.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
With him, you actually busted his helmet and then popped it off and left him there.
Is there any sign of recognition or scowling at us or giving us a stink eye or anything?
He is, when he turns around and he looks at you, he definitely has a little bit of a grin on his face, but not in that hey, good to see ya. That grin that somebody gets when they just played a really good joke on you. Like that kind of grin.
I guess we'll just... Are we still in... We're still in our suits, right? You said Jensen got out of his.
Jensen got out of his, yeah.
Right. Okay. So, I'll flick the comms on again and just say, I'll keep an eye on him. We don't want any surprises.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if we could get out. I mean, if they control the door, how many of you think there are?
Let's just get some more info. Let's get charged up. Then the three of us can go sit down and see what our next move is, and let's just not make it any more. Let's not add any more complications on top of it than we have to. If shit goes down, then we'll just have to handle it. So let's
Yeah.
Let's just, get from point A to point B to point C and figure out what we're going to do next.
Yeah. So Jansen will walk over to you guys, and he actually will look right at Smokey, and he'll basically tap his ear. He'll like signal to his ear, and then hold up a one on his finger, which is basically, and you all will know this. It's basically anytime you come across another runner that they want to talk to you, it's channel 1, which is like your universal channel.
I'll go ahead and flip it over.
All right, so he basically he has like a little watch on, and he lifts it up and he starts to talk into it, and as soon as he does, the mic from the watch kicks on, and you can hear the goosh 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 in the background. And he says, "All right, you guys follow me. I have a staging and debrief area that we can go ahead and talk to and talk at and see what the hell you guys are doing here now."
Lead the way.
So he leads you right on over. It's just down the area, few doors down, and he pops a little button. Door opens up. He gestures for you to follow to head on inside.
I will wave Huxley and Zuchy forward, and I'll wait to kind of walk in at the same time as Jensen. if he's following us.
He is. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so when you go in, the room is pretty bare. It's a couple of folding tables pushed up against the side. Pretty smallish room, maybe like a 15 by 20, if that. And it's got, basically a couple of folding tables, about a half dozen folding chairs, all just kind of pushed up and haphazardly cleared out of the way. And so you go in, Jensen closes the door behind you, and at that point you actually see him like take his earplugs out.
Do the guards come in with him, or is it the three of us with him in a room?
No. Yeah, it's just the four of you. The guards stayed back. The guards stayed back at the airlock.
Oh, so they're not even outside the door.
Nope.
Okay. I'm surprised.
And I'll say you passed you passed a handful of people along the way that most of them were wearing, the jumpers, like a mechanic suit in some fashion. Some of them were wearing like the big heavy duty headphones to block out the sound. Some had earplugs, some had no ear protection at all. And occasionally they would like walk by, give signs to each other. So
hearing protection is important. This sounds like a place where you might want to do double ear protection. Just saying. like to talk to an OSHA regulator now.
So yeah, basically Jensen, takes out his earplugs, puts them in a pocket, goes over, grabs a chair, unfolds it, sits down, and kind of leans back with his arms folded. Still that kind of shit-eating smirk on his face.
We're still in our suits, right?
Yep.
How much?
Go ahead,
John. No,
I was just gonna. Who was in charge here before, or like who did we? I know we ran into Dog and his significant other.
And Lily, yeah.
Lily.
Yeah, I don't know. Was there anybody? We didn't talk to anybody in charge, did we?
No, I think
Nope.
we just talked to them too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much talked to them, and you met. There was the head of the cafeteria.
Right. Give us a couple
And
of
the Terry
You
Yellow
didn't really
we
talk
saw,
to a
right?
ton of people, but also they didn't mention, talking to Lily. Dog didn't really talk all that much. 'Cause he also had no lower jaw. but talking to her, she didn't mention leadership or any like someone you have to talk to, anything like that. And they were also, it was like, hey, you're here, come on in. Like, that was about it. So
Right. Okay. All right.
you had the coin, you must be trustworthy.
Right.
I guess take our helmets off and sit down, and at least Smokey will take his helmet off and kind of sit down and get relaxed and kind of look over to Jensen and just say, all right, we got to get our suits charged up. Is there anything you need for us? Anything we need to get out that you need to know?
And so he'll look at you and he's like, well, I mean, first of all, I'd like to know what the fuck you're doing here. What's kind of giving you the idea that you can just, walk around after everything you did?
I mean, a lot of us have done a lot of things, right? I think present company, included. You think you're going to have to be a bit more narrow on, is it the royal we, as in me, or as we, as the three of us? Because, that could go down. If we're talking about, Smokey's past here, we may be here a while. So you may want to narrow that down a bit.
Well, I mean, it's just saying it's pretty shitty to just kind of leave someone out there to die.
I tried to help. There wasn't anything we could do. I did what I could, and then you were gone.
He glares you like slit-eyed, like stares you down.
He stares Huxley down?
He's staring Huxley down, yeah.
Okay, so Smokey will say, I think you maybe want to, maybe get your eyes off the kid and move it back my way. You and I aren't babes in the woods. So I'm guessing if we start poking around some of your history out running, you wouldn't be very comfortable with some of the decisions you've made. So it's a dog-eat-dog world, right? And you gotta look out for yourself and your team. So if we're gonna start getting nitpicky about what's been done at the past, let's lay all the cards on the table.
And he kind of just stares, kind of like chews his lip a little bit, looking at Huxley. And he's like, I'm just fucking with you. Calm down, kid. He goes, listen, if you didn't take me out or try to take me out, it would have been you sitting on top of this bridge. All right. So
I didn't want to hurt anybody.
And now, dude, it's fine. Oh, really?
It wasn't my fault. I told him. I said, "Don't."
Oh,
shoot.
someone else pulled the trigger for you. Then is that what happened?
He like gets real uncomfortable. Looks at Smokey and looks back at him. Looks at Zuchy like, he was gonna shoot.
No, listen, it's fine.
No, it's not fine.
He was expendable. It's fine.
That's mean.
It's life.
Mr. Smokey, Mr. Zuchy are expendable. They're my friends.
Oh, kid, listen. And he'll kind of glance over at Smokey and Zuchy. He's like, everyone's expendable.
I think he backs into the wall.
So Smokey will pull out a cigarette and light it, and then he'll offer one to Jensen to see if he takes one. And just say, I think we're trying to build a different kind of coterie with the three of us, right? We're trying to look out for each other. We've all seen what happens out there, and I understand where you're coming from, that, you know, in the grand scheme of things, we're all just kind of, you know, so Smokey goes into lots of platitudes and we're all cogs in the machine and blah, blah, blah. But I think the bigger question is, and, you know, he'll hold it. If Jensen takes a cigarette, you know, he'll hold a lighter and light it for him and point a smoke at him and go, you know, the bigger question is, how are you here then, considering the state we left you in?
So, well, you know, I guess just lucky. I was able to kind of come to and stumble my way back here. You know, luckily still have my suit to keep me going, to help me going a little bit. Thanks for not, you know, ripping my battery out and leaving me for dead. That was super helpful, guys. So, yeah, I just kind of made my way back here and decided to make this place a little more organized.
So are we to take the fact that if we want to talk to anyone in charge, that we're talking to the person in charge now?
No, no, I'm not in charge. I mean, I am, for all intents and purposes, the main connection to the organization in this scrub right now. You know, we haven't made it official yet. Actually haven't been able to get a direct line of communication with another outpost, but I'm assuming any day now we'll make this official. And until then, I'm just kind of overseeing the facility, so to speak.
So is that, just as an aside, is that a good thing he hasn't heard from the organization then, if we're here? I guess if we're letting bygones be bygones, that's a good thing. As you said, it's a rough world out there. We do what we got to do. We just want to see if we can get charged up and be on our way. If there's anything, hey, we're runners, right? So if there's anything you need or any kind of job that needs done, I think we're open for the moment. So, you know, I guess you take that as we're open for business if you are.
Hey, you know, any chance to have another line, another point in the line that makes it a little safer for us? That's all that matters, right?
Absolutely. As long as we can get back to somewhere at the end of the night and get plugged in, I would say that's a successful day. Plugged in and get charged, I should say. Yeah. Charging up the suits, getting plugged in. That's a successful day.
Yeah. You know, yeah, can't fault you for that. Well, hey, as members of the organization, feel free to rest up here. You know, take as long as you want. It's going to be here for you.
We'll do that. And as I said, we'll probably go run out in a bit, go down to the cafeteria. But as I said, if anything comes up or you need anything, give us, you know where to find us.
Yeah, just do me a favor. We run things a little bit different around here right now. While everybody was amenable to the situation, we there's some people that still need a little bit of understanding of how everything works around here now. So before you head on up, once you get unsuited, I'll and he'll point over to like a small almost like locker, and he said any kind of ear protection or anything that you need is going to be right in there. It's kind of tight in here. You're not going to really be able to maneuver all that well in your suits. So go ahead, throw whatever ear protection on you want. And do me a favor, just come back down to the barracks building right next to the entrance. We can just get you registered up, get you logged in, all that kind of stuff. And then you can kind of wander about and explore as much as you like. Sound good?
Yep, that sounds good. We'll get unsuited and I'll come down and get us registered.
Huxley keys to Zuchy since Smokey's helmet is off. What do we do about Mr. Brock? He's still on the thing. Like, we're gonna have to get him out or something, right? Like, what are we supposed to do?
Zuchy has the longest possible. He's like, Hux, for once, I have no unearthly idea what we're gonna be able to do here. That's not gonna.
I mean, he's only gonna last in there for so long, and if we don't, they're probably gonna go through our stuff, right? I mean, I don't know if I trust that guy.
Well, here's my question. We went through that metal detector. Who knows that they didn't scan the whole thing already and know that he's in there?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
He produces a big sigh. He's like, well, I don't know, Hux. I suppose he probably needs to get out of there and get some fresh air, but I don't know how. I don't trust this man one iota, so I don't even know if I want to take a chance.
While you guys are talking, obviously Smokey sees lips moving.
Yeah,
So
I'm assuming this is kind of like an overlaid conversation.
Yeah.
So Smokey will kind of tap Huxley and kind of make a mimicking where he's unzipping his suit. So Smokey's going to go run to the bathroom and I'm going to go feed this stupid cat. So she'll leave me alone. I'll be right back. When you guys are talking, Smokey's going to run to the bathroom real quick.
You can just go in his suit.
Cue the
just
tickling
see
noises
Smokey
on the
go
metal.
dead still for a moment.
Not making eye contact.
Yeah. Like a baby before it takes a dump. It's like, oh.
Right.
He goes and hides behind the couch.
Oh, no.
So no, when Jensen actually finishes talking up to Smokey, he'll turn over to, because I believe, oh no, that's right, Smokey has Brock on his back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll pause for a moment.
Okay. Well, since he's taking a pee break, I also am going to take a pee break.
All right.
Shit, we might need that graphic. Well, we got to keep the balance. So you and I will stay here then.
Yeah, so there
We're
we go.
both on the same side of the screen.
Right? I should have made Huxley do a fear check when he realized it was Jansen.
Yeah,
I
probably
thought about
that
it
would have been
afterwards, and I was like, it's too late now.
good. Yeah. Didn't even occur to me.
Yep.
That would have made sense.
Right.
I wish I was playing somebody that was more untrustworthy and insightful. Like Huxley's kind of unsettled, but not like, oh fuck this guy, right? Like he's gonna kill us.
Yep.
Like, oh, he says it's okay, but I don't know. This seems kind of weird, right? Like, and when they find out that we brought a blue inside, I'm sure they're going to be very unhappy.
No, I mean, that's if they find out. He's got to do a good job at hiding shit. That's all.
Mm-hmm. No,
Cat
don't
loves
involve
game
Huxley in
night
the
'cause
plan.
The cat loves game night because it gets two more feedings during game night.
Nice.
Cat knows where it's at.
Exactly. So I think what Smokey was going to do is Smokey was going to go down and go register. I'm assuming he can just do that and, type in the codes for the other two guys that we register in. We don't all three have to be there. But when Kurt gets back, then I'll kind of give some thoughts.
I'm here. Whoa!
So if you guys are chatting, does Jensen then leave the room, or is he still there?
No, he's still so yeah, you guys kind of the two of you finish up your Smokey and Jensen kind of finish up their conversation. Huxley and Zuchy have kind of finished theirs. And so he does mention, just unsuit, head on down, log in. And then he does say, and it's like, you pointing to Smokey. He's like, with your if your cargo, if it's sensitive or needs to be refrigerated or anything like that, just let us know. We can help you out with that. I'm assuming you're either going to what would it be, Sabatha or Primarchs, maybe. I don't know where you're heading.
We're on a run. It's not officially a run. We're doing a favor for someone, but we'll be out of your hair as soon as we can.
Yeah, no worries. Like I said, let us know if you need any help running a runner. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, take care of your stuff. If you need any help, let me know. And yeah, just make sure you make it down there.
I appreciate it. I'll be heading down in a minute to check us in.
He takes one drag of the cigarette, throws it on the ground, kind of stomps it out, and then gives you guys like a little bit of a half-hearted salute, and goes, "Just make sure you watch yourselves, okay?" And he looks like when he says that, he looks right at Huxley.
Huxley looks right at Smokey. Like, what does that mean? Of course,
and then
you can't
he'll go
hear
ahead
it.
and yeah, and he'll walk out. And as soon as he kind of reaches in his pocket and goes, reaches in his pocket, puts his earplugs back in, opens the door. As soon as he does, you hear the goosh, 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 goosh. He walks through, slowly closes the door, but when he does, he kind of leaves it like cracked open. He doesn't actually close it all the way for you.
So all the sounds we're hearing, is that stuff we heard before?
Yeah,
It is. Yeah,
like industrialized or whatever when we were here. Yeah.
So it's not anything new.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So as soon as the door almost closes, Smokey will, signal to Zuchy and Huxley to take their helmets off. And just say, okay, I'll go check us in. You guys get the suits charged and check to see how much. I'm not going to say it out loud, right? See how much air is still left for my box here, and he'll tap his back and just say, see how much is there, and see if we can, scrounge some up to keep this going, because I'm assuming we're going to have to get out of here pretty soon.
Okay. I don't know if we want to ask about that, because, I mean, you think they might. Well, okay. We'll figure it out. Is
Maybe
there a
don't
place?
ask, but maybe do some of the old magic on the screen to see if you can find any containers or anything we can take with us. But I wouldn't be. If we're asking for extra oxygen, they're going to be wondering why if we've got our suit. So yeah, see if you can find any surreptitiously.
Okay. It's weird, right? Like, he said everything is fine, but I don't think it's fine, right? Like, what do you think is going to happen?
I don't think it's fine. I think it's as fine as it can be, right? But obviously, we're not going to leave that to chance and leave it up to someone else to decide that for us. So we'll make the decision on whether it's fine or not.
Okay. He looks around the room. There's no place to charge the suits in here, right?
Nope.
If we desuit here, how are we going to charge? Where do we have to go to charge the suits?
Yeah, I guess that's the thing, right? Where do we go charge?
I mean, it's easier to get them there if we're walking in them than it is to drag them.
All right, let's stay in the suits. Let's go find out where we can get charged up, and then, as I said, see if you can do some snooping around to see if you can find any of what we're looking for, and I'll go get us I'll go get us checked in.
I guess we, go back out and look around, see if there's somebody that can help us.
All right. Yeah, there's a handful of people walking around. So all three of you are heading out?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I think we should grab those. I think Zuchy says we should grab those earplugs and stuff like that in those lockers before we head out too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
So are the three of you staying in your suits, or are you actually getting out of them?
Stay in the suits. Because how are we going to charge them if we can't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if there's nowhere to charge them here, like, what are we? Like, they're not going to get charged then.
Yeah.
I think that's what Smokey's thinking, right? The most important thing is let's get charged up in case we've got to. So let's go get charged up. Let's see if we can find any oxygen for Brock, and then, sit down and talk about what we're going to do next and what our next steps are.
Sounds good. All right. So yeah, you three in your suits, get out, kind of walk around, and there's a handful of people walking by, kind of semi head down, purposefully walking. But any person that you want to stop and ask question to or interact with, feel free. If you want to be selective about a person, if you just want to grab the first person you see, whatever you like.
I mean, left to his own devices, Huxley would just be like, "Excuse me."
Yeah. Let's just do that. Let's play it innocent. And...
Hello.
So, yeah.
Like he's waving his hand.
First, someone kind of picks their head up. They see you kind of waving their arms, and they'll walk right on over to you and sign to you, and Smokey knows it. It's similar enough. It's like, Spanish and Portuguese, with the hand symbols that you would use in the mines, as we learned before. So basically, woman walks over to you, and signs, "Need help?"
And I'll just sign back that, we're looking to find somewhere we can get our suits charged up.
And she nods, and it says, "Follow me." And she'll walk up about 20 or so feet. And there's probably about 8 to 10 basically like thick industrial extension cables, right? Hanging down from the ceiling, kind of running down to this area. And she walks over, she grabs one, points, she's like, "This?" And then she reaches down to another one. "This?" Reaches down. "This?" Like,
Huxley
"What do you need?
nods
We got a bunch."
vigorously. Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically, you see, they're all different, like, style connectors. Like, what do you need?
Yeah. Oh, when Huxley sees that, he just starts going through them, and
Yeah.
this one, Mr. Zuchy, come here, Mr. Smokey, boom,
Yep.
I'll look for one where I can plug in the backup battery as well, because I'd like to have that fully charged too.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah. So it takes you a moment, but you're able to get everybody linked up and beginning to charge. And you can see that it's not like a super powerful charge, right? It's not like a consistent current, but it's good enough that it'll get the job done given some time.
Okay. I assume at that point we all get out of our suits then.
Yep. Get the earplugs in.
And one thing is, she will look at you guys once you've plugged in. She'll reach down, and you see that there's like a tag on the end of the plug, on the end of the cable. And she'll look at you. She'll point to it, and she'll basically sign like, you guys would have used it as like punch in, right? To start your shift kind of thing. So she signs to you, punch in, and points over to a building right next to the barracks.
And I'll just say, what's the building? I'll sign back. What's that building over there?
And she basically says, like, power distribution.
Okay. Is that something that Smokey should know about?
Not necessarily.
All right. So I'll sign back.
The way it would translate for you in terms of the meaning that you guys would have used it would be, you only have so much power, so much wattage, right? So like, it's that thing of like, watch your power. Okay. So like, you can't plug 50 things into it because it's going to drain super fast, kind of stuff.
I gotcha.
Okay. So that's how that's how in the mines this signal would have been translated.
So I'll just sign back that we'll keep an eye on it, and I gotta go register. I gotta go get us registered. And then kind of stop for a minute and kind of like look sideways at her if we know we're chatting this way, and just say, is there anything else I should know? And kind of, give her like a sheepish grin.
No, and she just looks at you and she's like, no.
Okay.
And she just, check in, power distro. And then, okay.
So I don't, like I said, I don't want to kind of metagame it, right? But would it be strange for Smokey to then find someone who speaks the same kind of cant or similar cant, or is it just to be expected? He would run.
Well,
into
so
people.
from what we went over last time you were here, there's a lot of people under the bridge that speak this.
Okay.
So either, it's kind of a chicken and the egg situation,
Yeah.
right? Like either you have a shared language that came from somewhere else, right? Or this is potentially a language that was developed in the mines and then somebody came over here and shared it with them.
Yeah.
Not quite sure, but yeah, you were able to communicate with Lily through this when you first came here.
All right. So I'm not gonna there's probably other things on Smokey's mind right now. It's like, okay, let's get us checked in, let's get this shit charged up, and let's get out of here. So he's not going to delve too much into any other things. He'll be pretty focused on those specific things, just the linear part of it. So he'll sign, thanks for all your help. And just say to Zuchy and Huxley, okay, let's get charged up. I'm gonna go get us registered, and he'll smile and just say, "You two stay out of trouble," and kind of give him a wink, and then head off to go get checked in.
I lean in really close to Zuchy since it's loud, and I say, "Should we let him go by himself? Maybe we should stick together. Because if then it's just him by himself. You know what I mean?"
Smokey would be walking, right? So that decision would be up to you guys.
Yep.
I said get the suits charged, then see if you can find any oxygen. If you guys want to come along, that's up to you. But Smokey's like, okay, I'm just gonna go, because I think Smokey's mind is, okay, if it goes squirrely, then it's just me there, and it's not you two. So that's kind of what he's thinking. Yeah. If you guys want to come along, it's up to you. But I'm.
So just so people are in Zuchy's head, Zuchy's torn because he doesn't want to leave Brock there alone. So he's looks at Huxley, and you could tell the gears are kind of turning or whatever, that kind of thing. And he says, you know what? Why don't you go with him? And I'm gonna stay here, and I'm gonna make sure that nobody interferes with our cargo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Okay. We'll be back. And he starts running to catch up with him. Mr. Smokey, wait.
Zuchy's gonna say something else, and he's just like, well, I guess he's gone.
All right. So Huxley and Smokey are gonna go register while Zuchy keeps the cargo well guarded. Let's go Hux and Smoke. So you walk, pretty much to the other side of under the bridge, which again, the whole place is, only a few hundred feet long, right? Less than, basically less than a football field, really. So you're able to walk to the other side in relatively short time, And sure enough, you see there's that main barracks area, that little watchtower, that little guard box. Still has Jensen's suit sitting there outside of it. And then next to that is another kind of building that you're assuming is the one that the woman told you to go register, to go kind of punch in at as well.
Yep. I think we would just go.
Just walk in.
Yeah, I think Jensen's suit's just Jensen's suit, right? It's just a suit. I think Smokey would just be okay. Let's go get checked in, and let's get the formalities out of the way, so then we can decide what we're going to do next. We're going to sit down and chat.
All right, so yeah, you go in. There's sliding door that you can easily open up. There's literally the handle on it. Opens up, close it behind you, so then it dulls out all the noise outside. And there's two guys in there. They seem to kind of be plugging away at a computer.
I think Huxley,
and when you walk in, they're like, can we help you?
I think Huxley's like, hello, like real loud, because he's got the earplugs in.
Yeah.
And he like pulls the earplugs out.
Yeah. Jeez, kid.
Sorry.
What?
I look at Smokey.
I mean, can I help you, sir?
We need to register. We were told to come down and punch in our details.
You need a what? What? And then the other dude like elbows him, and it's like, what we're doing here? And all right, yeah. I'm sorry. Come on over. Come on. Sorry, we're just kind of still getting all this going. It's all kind of new to us. Sorry.
Are you guys runners too?
No, no. We're new registrants to the organization. Apparently, we'll be running facilities here now.
Okay, when they keep saying organization, that just means the organization, right? That we're all part of, right? So
correct, yeah.
Well, you assume.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, right? So Jensen's making this an outpost of the organization, where before it was kind of independent, is the vibe I'm getting,
correct.
Right?
Yep.
So say, guys, it looks like this place is under new management. What happened to all the old management that was here?
Oh, we didn't really have like management.
You know what I mean? All the old guard, all the people that were here before running the joint before all these new changes. Are they still Are they still part of the team, or has there been they clean everybody out, or what?
No, I mean, everyone's still here. Some of the, we did have some people that were here longer than others. Most people kind of just took it. We figured something like this might happen eventually. It was only a matter of time until someone from the organization kind of stumbled upon us, and if we're useful, then they're gonna decide that we're useful. So honestly, it's better useful than not, right?
Was there anybody who they thought wasn't useful or didn't like the new turn of events?
I mean, there was some people who weren't a fan of it, but they basically just kind of get to be here then, but they don't have a say in anything anymore. So,
all right. So then they didn't clean everybody. They didn't clean anybody out or kick anybody out, right? They're just hanging around doing other jobs now. Then,
yeah. I mean, that's kind of how it is now.
Do I ask about? So when we were here last time, there was a pretty ugly looking dude and someone named
dog.
Lily. Are they still hanging around?
I mean, Lily's still here. She's working, she's working mechanics now. Dog decided that he didn't want to be here anymore. He was never really big into rules anyway. Last I heard, he kind of started heading south. So
Right, so
I think there
Smokey's
was like a new scrub that popped up down there that, maybe he was taking his chance there.
So he's more the independent type. I kind of picked that vibe up from him. So, this to Smokey, this doesn't seem to be out of character for what to expect, right? I mean, Smokey's not gonna take it as anything too out of the ordinary, right? Being independent probably doesn't make you last long. And if the organization's looking for more footholds and a bigger footprint, I guess it makes sense to do that. So to him, he's not going to think that's weird, right? So he's just going to say, well, that's just the way business is done.
Do we know where the organization is based out of? Like, we only know the stuff that's kind of right around us, right? Under the bridge to Zane.
So of and like in your training, right? They give you like the rundown, like the history of the organization type thing.
Right.
There is what they colloquially call like HQ.
Mm-hmm.
So it's where the organization originated. They don't even necessarily know where it is now. It's one of those things where, like, Ingram, the where you're from, was started by runners who similar to Under the Bridge, right? Like discovered a location that, like, a settlement, decided was worth incorporating, but those runners came from a different outpost that came from a different outpost. So,
right,
like, there is a headquarters, like a main facility, but there's really no idea exactly where it is.
I think Huxley asked that anyway, right? Like, just kind of because they keep talking about the organization, and the organization we know is the one we deal with in Ingram.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think he just says, do you guys talk to HQ? Is that who decides if this gets to be part of the organization then?
What?
I mean, like Runners HQ, right? I mean, is that what you mean?
No, I mean, Mr. Wells told us that we are now.
Oh, like, did he talk to him?
Well, no, I mean, he came in and basically made the proposition, right? Like, he, came in, talked to some people, and then they came out and said that they've decided to join. And I guess we're, part of the organization now. Kind of how it went. Oh,
okay. Well, because, where we're from, the organization was already there. So I didn't know if, who made the decision.
I don't know.
He looks back at Smokey. To Smokey, right? That this just seems like it is what it is, right? It's the way stuff's
part of the
done.
process.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think he would. As I said, he's trying to focus on the things. Let's get charged up. And let's get the hell out of here.
Right.
To Smokey, it seems like it's running the way stuff always runs, so he's not going to really worry about it. They didn't he has a bit of a, affinity for Lily with that connection he had, but it doesn't sound like anything, went bad on that end. So he's really not going to care. He's just going to say, okay, we got to get Zuchy and Huxley and Brock out of here. So let's get punched in and let's get moving.
So yeah, he'll say, if you guys could come on over, I just need you to put in your credentials. You can log in. It'll transfer all the necessary. I don't know what the hell, like tags and data, just so you guys can get logged into the system, and then you should be good.
Okay, this is where Smokey is going to start. He's worried about getting plugged into the organization for, what they're running away from, right?
We'd have 18 hours to get away.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Because he said there is no communication going on right now, right? So there isn't like
Well, that's true too. How would they? I wonder if Huxley would have that thought. Well, he's smart, like with mechanical electrical stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think Smokey's just worried we punch in our numbers and it comes back as it says, "Hold these assholes." That's kind of what he's worried about.
I think Huxley says forward. He says, just, one minute. Mr. Smokey, come here, please.
Hold on 1 minute, guys, and we'll go.
Just go like step
They
away.
kind of just shrug and go back to.
Well, yeah, they
working
don't
on
seem
the
to be
computers.
really.
How could they contact the organization, right? We can't talk to Zane from Ingram or Under the Bridge from Ingram. Like, how would they contact anybody, right? That doesn't make any sense. You can't talk to anybody because she'd pick it up.
Yeah, and I don't know if we want to be putting in our information from. I think there's big red flags next to our name. So if there is communication, depending on how that works, I'm assuming we're not, our names are going to start blaring as soon as it's punched in. So Smokey will look back to the two guys and say, you know what? We've got another guy with us. Let's go grab him. We'll bring him down and then we'll all get checked in. So all three of us are all registered. So, I'm going to do the walk and talk, and I'm going to be pushing Huxley out the door and just say, we're going to grab our other guy. We'll be right back.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I guess when we get outside, Huxley says, well, if they are connected, it would take them, 16, 18 hours to get here. And they'd have to find somebody and get suits. Hopefully we'd be charged before that, but you don't think they'll chase us, do you?
I think the bigger question is if you have worries about how they're getting connected. I think that's the bigger thing, right? And then if we punch our names in and they've got an update recently, then it's going to flag us as don't let these idiots leave. So I say we try to not register for as long as we can and get the hell out of here as soon as we can. So let's go back and see where Zuchy is and see if you could get these suits to get charged up a bit quicker and see if we can find anything for my container so we can get back out of here as soon as we can.
Maybe I can tweak their charging apparatus. The strength of the charge was a little sporadic. Maybe I could just make sure all the wires are tightened and everything. Maybe they didn't have somebody good working on it. Everything in here vibrates and shakes and everything. So maybe something came loose.
Yeah, and I think there's all those different connections that were coming down. So let's just see. Let's not go too crazy, but let's see if we can get charged up and also kind of give a thought to trying to find some canisters so then we can get out of here as soon as we can.
Okay.
All right. Speaking of Zuchy, so what are you doing while the two of them are going out to get registered?
Now we're coming back to him, so we're not going to register. We're coming back.
Yeah, I think Zuchy just kind of sits with the suits and just kind of like nonchalantly look like he's just kind of monitoring them, just like making sure that they're charging well and stuff like that. Not trying to look like he's there protecting the cargo just to protect it, or that kind of thing.
Yeah,
trying to look as inconspicuous as possible.
Sounds good. Are you kind of keeping an eye out for the people going by, or are you just kind of focusing on the suits?
He what would he do? You know what? I think for this, it might be a little out of character for Zuchy, but because he doesn't really trust what's happening here, maybe he would just like almost kind of pretend like he's kind of keeping track of the suits, but then he'd kind of like, peek out of the corner of his eye, just see if there's anybody he notices, or, if anything looks amiss, or if he sees anybody that like, we were here last time and I noticed that this person is here or whatever.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So why don't you go ahead and give me a focus test to try to just kind of keep it's almost as if you're trying, like you said, you're trying to pretend that you're not paying attention almost, right? It's giving that air off of you. Yeah. So go ahead and give me a focus test of 5.
Okay. That is a 4 total.
All right. So you're not really able. So anybody walking by is going to see that you're. I don't necessarily want to say nervous, because I don't think that's what Zuchy is. But not 100% focused on what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
It's clear that your attention is not just on what you're looking at, but also on the things around you. So because of that, you aren't able to kind of blend in or fade, or more so fade into the background as well as maybe you would like to. But the good news is that people in that respect give you space, right? Yeah. They become aware of you, so they stay away from you.
As they should.
Yeah. So yeah, while the two of them are away, they're gone for probably about 10 or 15 minutes or so. There's about a couple, a dozen or so, maybe a little bit more people that have walked by. Like I said, all of them, most of them head down, just kind of walking. Some of them will take notice of you, give you a little bit of a breath. Others, do briefly, see another person walk, sign to each other, briefly have communication. But it's not as relaxed and jovial as it was the first time you were here, as I said before. Why don't you go ahead and give me a brains test? You will have, because you're a little bit more on edge right now, you are going to have a snag to it. So it's going to be at a 6.
Fun.
If you do have anything, though, that will kind of heighten your senses as far as, looking out for yourself or something in that nature, then that could help.
Okay. I don't really. So I don't think I really have anything that's going to help me at this point.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I did not take any skills like that would actually help me out, or specs or whatever.
That's fine.
So, oh, you say it's fine, but we'll find out what that actually means. Oops. That is a 6.
Hey, that's right on. So yeah, you're seeing, like I said, handful of people walk by. One interaction catches your eye.
Mm-hmm.
You see 3 people, a group of 2 and 1 person, walk up to each other. 2 of the people sign to each other. You have no idea what they're saying, but they seem pleasant enough. And then the one of 2 that was signing continues to walk on, and the other 2 look at each other for a moment. They stand there for probably about 3 or so seconds, almost motionless, in complete silence, just staring at each other. This happens for about 3 seconds, and then they almost snap back into reality and then just continue to walk as if nothing happened.
Weird.
I have a question then.
Yes.
So since I've taken my suit off, do I feel any different?
Not really. You feel the, well, how about this? How do you mean feel a little bit different?
Do I feel like I'm being controlled by Anne? That's what I mean.
He's just laying it out there.
Just put it on Front Street.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you do not. So you, especially as somebody who has taken a fair amount of, you've kind of felt some of the effects of that before. You still feel perfectly. You have all of your faculties. You don't have missing time or anything like that. At least as far as you're concerned, you've been knocked out before, but like in this span of time, nothing for you feels off.
Okay. Now I have a different question.
Of course.
When that one lady talked about the, what did she say when she was talking to Smokey about when our suits were plugged in? What did she say that other place was?
So the Smokey basically told you that it was a, what was it? Power distribution.
Okay. So does that mean that, so now in looking at that interaction, do I assume that means that we're feeding power into the place to get power for the suits and stuff like that?
So your suits are charging. So nothing's
But I mean,
sorry,
are the people that are here, are they the ones that are providing the energy that's powering the suit?
Gotcha.
Based on that interaction.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work.
So it isn't a yes or a no answer.
I'm gonna say no, only because I didn't think about that.
Okay.
I mean, we're not looking at like a Matrix situation where or at least from what you can tell, where people were like plugged in and giving their we don't have a human battery situation going on that you're aware of.
It's an important caveat.
Yeah. So Zuchy will kind of kind of like really like be confused about that, but also keep it in his back pocket so he can tell Huxley and Smokey about that weird interaction.
Sounds good. Yeah, and we'll say a couple minutes later, you can see Huxley and Smokey walking back up towards you.
Huxley waves.
Mm-hmm. Zuchy would be like, well, that was quick.
Yeah, there's weirdness going on here over and above just the weirdness of us being here. So,
well, I could have probably told you that.
Yeah, it's pretty
well,
obvious.
why didn't you?
I thought you knew, Huxley. Come on now, boy.
Well, I mean, he said it was weird that he wasn't mad and all, but I mean, I don't know.
I will, before they tell me anything, I'll tell them of the interaction that I witnessed when I was waiting for them.
Was it specifically the two people that were signing?
It was, so one person was signing, one person wasn't. So there was a group of two, one signed, one didn't. And then it was the person who didn't sign that was staring at the other person.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's
I mean, I don't know that it would make a difference, but
yeah.
I mean, they could be overworked, maybe if they're making them like work where they didn't before. Maybe they're tired, and I don't know. That's weird.
It is. I don't like anything that's going on here.
I mean, maybe we shouldn't eat anything either.
That's probably a good idea. Come on, Smokey, spit it out.
Mr. Smoker, are you having a stroke? Oh my God! Let me get my kit. He runs over to the suit.
I'm not that old, you bastard. Give me.
Can you smile right now?
Do you smell toast? Because we mentioned it when we came in, right? You know, we're carrying something that is a bit, you know, and no one's flagged that up. It does seem a bit strange, doesn't it? Or do we just, you know?
Well, I don't think anything's on the up and up here. If you've kind of noticed,
let's check our suits. Let's see where they're at. Huxley, see if you can check to see what the supply is on my cargo, and see if there's anything else we need to get to extend that. And let's get the hell out of here, is what I'm thinking.
Did you end up registering? What happened when you registered?
Yeah, I think if we registered, that might not be a good thing, because, you know, we didn't really leave. We didn't really leave in a good situation. And if this is now an organization site, you know, the organization is a bit mad at us to begin with. So I don't know if we want to be broadcasting where we're at the moment.
That's why I was kind of shocked that you actually wanted to go register then.
Well, I am a bit thick and a bit slow, so I was just following standard protocol and really wasn't thinking at the time. So next time that you guys think I'm slipping, make sure you remind me and, you know, throw something at me, because I'm trying to maybe I'm not looking at the bigger picture, and I'm focusing on some specific things that maybe we shouldn't be focusing on.
I'm going to take a look at the suits. I mean, it's only been like, you know, whatever, 15 minutes at this point. Do they look like they're still consistently charging? I know they're not charged anywhere near where we need them to be.
But yeah, they are still fairly consistently charging. Yeah.
Okay. Can I just like, if it's just like plugs hanging down, I guess there's not anything I can really do, right? Like, I don't know where the juice is coming from, so I don't know, you know.
Oh, you could always try to follow it to the source.
Yeah, I think I get distracted
Yeah.
and start
So
doing
from your time back here, right? Both being above this, right? So there's a ton of solar panels up top. Plus they also have a ton of gas power generators running as well. And so their entire power structure is up at the roof of this whole unit, basically up either on top of or underneath the bridge. So these cables run up there
all the
somewhere.
way up. Okay, I don't know that he would. I don't know that he would wander that far away.
Hmm.
I think he starts to trace it and then starts just looking up and up. He goes, "Oh, Mr. Smokey, I think because you remember they have like all the solar panels and stuff. So I think all the power's coming from like way up there. So I don't know that I should go climbing through there. I guess right. Somebody might get mad.
I think just double check and see how much oxygen we have for
I
our
think
cargo.
we'd have to crack it, right? I mean, it's not like carbonate, Mr. Smokey. Like, there's no way for me to read it on the outside. Like, we just threw a couple of bottles in there with them.
Okay, then see if you can work some magic to see if you can find some more bottles around here, and then if we get them, then we'll we'll make the assumption that everything's all right, and then we'll try to get out of here as soon as we can. But see if you can find some first, and then we'll follow up secondly about checking and I don't know if we want to open this now.
Do I have a sense of with Huxley's medical stuff? Did we have enough to get him here and he's going to run out, or do I have the sense of doing quick math? Does he have time still before we would have to do something?
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me a brain test.
Am I adding my medic to that then?
Sure.
Okay, I think it's a +2. Let me double check.
Yep. All right, that brings you down to 3.
That is a 7.
Nice. Oh yeah. So yeah, you know. Well, it depends on where you're planning to go.
Right.
You believe he probably has. Let's see. About 20 hours of oxygen left.
Okay.
Based on how, so you were able to you had brand new equipment coming out of Tizane, right?
Mm-hmm.
All new tanks and everything. So based on the run, how many tanks you already had, the run you've already made, you're estimating that he probably has about 18 to 20 hours.
Okay. So he's kind of standing there doing quick math on his fingers and all. And he's like, I think he's got maybe 18 to 20 hours. I mean, because he doesn't breathe that deep, right? Because he's kind of he's sort of in a coma, but not really. He's kind of, because of the signal and also it's not really, but you know what I mean, right? So he breathes real shallow. So I think we could, I don't know, where are we going to go though? We've been to Tizane, we've been here. I mean, we could maybe follow Dog and go further south, but I mean, we'll have to see if we can find a map or something. I don't know. I mean, there's green hills, but we haven't been there, so I don't know, where we can go. I mean, Mr. Smokey, if you think that our names are gonna trigger some sort of an alert, I mean, it might not be safe anywhere where we're going. I mean, I could turn the signal back off, but I don't know.
Okay, so Smokey Smokey's going to extremes now, so he's thinking. So he says to you guys, okay, so obviously if we've got to make a hasty exit out of here, we're going to leave it all up to fate on where we're going and if we can get there in time. That
doesn't sound like a good idea at all, Mr. Smokey. We could get trapped out in the gap.
Yeah, so I think the other option I'm going to give you guys probably isn't much better, but we'll see what you guys think. This place seems to be a bit fishy, but it also has power and it's safe to be in. It already looks like there's been a change of ownership recently. Who's to say there's not another change of ownership? So either we bundle up some supplies and make a run for it, or we stay here, find Jensen, put a foot on him, and under the bridge is now ours for the foreseeable future, because there's something going on here that we need to know about.
I think Huxley just gapes like a carp on the shore. Like, what are you talking? Like, that's the craziest thing he's ever heard.
I told you it was a bit extreme, but if shit's not right here.
But we also don't know how many friends that Jensen has either.
Yeah. So that's the thing is.
Well, I mean, maybe everybody's on edge because they made a decision to join the organization and some people didn't want to do it, right? I mean, wouldn't you be upset if they changed leadership in Ingram and everything was different?
But it also points to the thing that Huxley, or that Zuchy said, that everybody was acting a bit squirrely. And, we're here with Brock and no one's flagged that up yet. That seems to be a bit strange, doesn't it?
I mean, he's in the container. Nobody would know what we're carrying, right? I mean, they didn't clock it when we went back to Ingram either, or when we took him out, or when we went to Zane.
That's why I need you guys to feed this to me, because my mind's spinning out in certain ways. So I just need to make sure that we're not making any rash decisions.
Huxley slaps you. Calm down, Mr. Smokey.
God damn it. Get a hold of yourself. But that's what I'm thinking, right? Everybody here seems to be acting a bit weird. How do we find out how weird they're acting and for what reason? And, if we do make a break for it, where are we going to go?
Oh, we should see if we can find Miss Lily. He said that she was a mechanic. Do you remember where her apartment was? Because we talked to her before, and if Dog's not there anymore, because he was kind of mean. I don't think he really liked us very much. But if he's gone, then like she might be willing to talk to us, and we can get some information from her, right? Because she seemed okay.
Let's do that. Let's see if you can go over to one of the information tablets or screens, see if you can find out where mechanics are, or if you can find Lily, and let's go talk to her.
Okay. Should we try her apartment first?
Yeah, but why don't you pull up that information real quick too? So if we'll have two places to go, so we're not so we're not slowing down. Let's get both places where she could be. Let's get that information first, and then we'll head for them.
Huxley looks around to see if there's like a tap screen somewhere.
Nothing.
No. Okay. Let's head for the apartments then.
From what you remember before and what you can tell now, especially like when you got in there and everything, under the bridge is relatively low tech.
Okay.
Right? Like their doors are not like these automated slider doors. Like everything's working on gears and it's all kind of cobbled together.
Okay.
Yeah. Zane's the one that had the screens and stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, let's head out. Let's head to where I think Lily's room was, but if we see someone along the way, I'll ask them, hey, do you know where the mechanics are, and are they working now?
Okay,
Because if they're working now, then we'll head there.
that sounds good. Then we, I guess, take the steps to go up to wherever her.
Yeah. Yeah, just head to the apartment, but if we see someone along the way, just say, hey, you know, where are the mechanics at? And do you know if they're working now?
Yeah, so she's on if you remember, she was on the 3rd floor. You know, you can generally find like, oh, this kind of looks familiar. Why don't all 3 of you give me a focus test?
Ooh.
Basic 5.
All right. 6.
5.
6 as well.
There you go. So, as I said before, when you guys are walking around, you can see people like stopping and signing to each other every once in a while. But as you're making your way up to where you think Lily's apartment is, you see, a handful of people signing and stopping and waving and saying hi and everything. But each of you believe that you catch at least one instance of something similar to what Zuchy witnessed before. You can't be certain, but because right now you're kind of on edge a little bit. You could just be catching the end of a conversation, or maybe they're using headsets, like you're not entirely sure, but you feel like you see, like I said, each of you at least one of these kind of motionless interactions.
Okay. I mean, I think at some point Huxley would just nudge one of them and go, "Did you see that?"
Have we seen this other times, or is this something that we can make an educated guess on what the hell it is? Or it just seemed very strange, right? Is it
what's the role for a vibe check?
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
This is not something that you've seen before, at least in the regular. If you want, go ahead and give me a brains test.
Can I?
It is. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can I use my med tech to be like, is there something wrong with these people? Like, does this remind me of a condition, a trauma response with the, things that are happening? Like, is there any sense of like?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, why don't you, whoever wants to, go ahead and give me a brains. Huxley, feel free to throw your med tech in there.
Oh, it's gonna be an 8.
Nice.
Okay, I'm not going to roll then. That's fine.
You can still roll. Each person will get different
Might get something
different experiences, get you different
Yeah.
information.
6.
Nice.
Also a 6.
Nice.
Oh, beautiful.
We are
All
super
right,
observant.
so, right? So
Yeah, shit's
from
weird now.
Huxley's
We're all-
perspective,
We're all on edge because shit's weird. So
right? So I will say this is not anything that Huxley. So from your medical training, this is not anything that kicks in from a trauma
Physiological.
response perspective or anything like that.
Yeah.
It does remind you of things that you have witnessed, especially with your short excursions with med teams out in the gap, kind of pre-runner, right? When they would bring anybody from the outside in, it is that almost searching for a signal type look that you would sometimes see users have. And Smokey and Zuchy, from your kind of survivalist instincts out in the gap, this is actually kind of your moments like this are actually times that you look for in users, because it is the moment that they are uploading or conveying information to another user. And it's the time that they are temporarily shut down that they're easier to get past.
All right. So when I told you guys that maybe this place needs to be under new management, that doesn't sound too crazy now, does it?
I think this whole place is compromised. How could that happen? Do you feel anything? He like starts like tapping himself, like patting himself down. I feel okay. Do you feel okay?
Do we feel okay?
You feel fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel affected.
What would cause that? I mean, he wouldn't do that intentionally, would he? Why would someone do that?
I don't know. I don't know if he knows what's really going on around here.
Well, if we left him out to die with no protection and he somehow made it back, then
I mean, he was in a
who's the one that
suit.
saved them to help him get back?
Well, but wouldn't he be, but like the users, they're not, but I mean, like they don't, and he's like waving his hands in front of his face. They're just kind of like not in there, right? I mean, no offense, Mr. Zuchy. I mean, because I know you said Brock. That's not what I meant. But they don't, like, they're not responsive though. You know what I mean? Like, we had a conversation with him.
Those are the only you've only had interaction with only so many users, Hux. That doesn't mean that they're all the same.
Do you think he's a user?
Well, in one way or another, maybe. Maybe that snide look on his face means he knows something that we don't.
Oh, that's
Maybe
not good. We've got to find
Are
this
you okay?
Lily.
Did you just get uploaded by Ann? What happened there?
Who, me?
Yeah, you just hesitated way too long.
Okay, so Smokey has something he's going to do, but it also depends on. It seems more fitting for when we're at the end, right? So let's at the end of the session, right? So I'm not going to say let's do it now, but if you give me a couple minutes before the end of the session, Smokey's going to do something. Let's go.
I don't like the sound of that.
Let's go. Let's go find Lily, and then that also will play into what Smokey's next move is going to be. And while we're walking to go find Lily to her place, I'll look to Huxley and Zuchy and just say, well, if we pop Brock open, would that give us a sign of would we be able to tell anything from that? We'd be able to tell how much oxygen he has left, but on top of that, would we be able to figure out what the hell's going on around here?
Oh, before you say that and we respond, you know for a fact he's connected because you use your power. So like you know that he's awake.
But I mean, would he have a reaction then here, right? That's what I mean.
But we don't know any of that because you never told us.
Oh, that's
so
right.
You know that he's up and connected and we do not. Which is why we're concerned because we think he's still like as fine as he's been. You never told us.
Yeah.
Because it was like he kind of came online as we were leaving.
We were
and
leaving.
Then when we got here, you were like, no, it'll be fine. We'll do it later.
All right. Let's go see if we can talk to Lily. And then we'll make a decision from there.
Okay. Yeah, we go up towards the apartment, I guess,
All right.
assuming we can
Yeah.
find it.
Yep. Yeah. So you find it. There was on the front door, and as you kind of look, everybody has like their, if it belongs to a person, then they kind of have like their name or some decorations out on the front door. And you actually find a door that has like in almost in like Sharpie marker, right? Like a paint marker. Lily written on there in white with a crude drawing of a lily. And then under it you see a picture of like a very cartoony and scribbled on like pit bull. But the writing next to it has been like scraped off of the door. You can see like fresh like the paint of the front of the door has kind of been scraped down to metal.
Right.
Walk up and give it a knock.
All right. There's a moment, and you see there's like a little like fob pad that that a little green light appears on it after a moment.
Hello? Does that mean we should go in? Try the door, Mr. Smokey.
Yeah, let's go in.
Yep.
And I'll try to open the door.
Unlocked, pushes right open.
And we'll walk in. See
there you
what
go.
We see.
Hello?
Yeah. Yeah, so you walk in, it's a small, like 2-room apartment, basically. And you actually see Lily there. And small little red head, bun high up on her head, and she has her ears like cupped and covered when you walk in.
I shut the door behind us.
Yeah, if I go up to her and kind of look at her, does she recognize me or does she recognize us?
And yeah, she actually gets like a little smile on her face when the three of you walk in. And she's like, wondered if the three of you would ever show your faces around here.
Hi, Miss Lily.
What's going on?
Business as usual, I guess.
Hey, did you
usual?
And she kind of gives a shrug.
Did you notice all the weird stuff going on?
See, you mean us now being an organization outpost? Yeah. Yeah, kind of hard to miss.
No.
Yeah. No, not that.
And then he looks at Smokey and Zuchy.
And she like looks at the kind of like furrows her brow at the three of you. She's like, take a seat, have a drink.
Is it safe to drink? Well, I mean, I guess that's probably fine. So I think it looks like, I mean, we're not sure, but we all saw it, and like some of the people, like we saw it a couple of times, they just stop and they kind of look like users, like they shut down and then like they're trying to connect. Have you noticed?
I think you've been out too long.
Well, I mean, it took us a while to get here, but I mean, we were in the suits and everything, and I am kind of tired, but no. But I mean, like, but you haven't seen it?
And because Smokey will look directly at Lily and just say, "What's going on here?"
And she'll kind of give a sigh and she goes to walk, and she's, there's the big kind of lazy boy that, when you first came in, you saw Dog sitting in, and there's still like a box of cigars on the end table there, and a little highball glass. And she looks, and she sits in the chair and says, "We're kind of all screwed around here, it seems."
How screwed are we?
Well, I mean, we were basically given a put up, shut up, or get out ultimatum when dickhead came in here. He decided that went to the council, asked them, basically said, "Hey, you guys either join, or we're gonna have a squad come here and wipe you all out anyway. So then one way or another, this is going to be part of the organization. So what side do you want to be on?" And we chose not die. Dog was lucky. He had a suit. He was able to get out of here. To be honest, I don't think he would have lasted all that long anyway with these guys. But
you're saying you're screwed, right? But we work for the organization, and it doesn't feel like being screwed. So
I mean, in reality, how long do you think we're going to last here?
How long have you been here?
No, I mean, I've been here for as long as I can remember. I mean,
So
granted, that ain't too long, but
why would it go away then? I mean, we made a run to here, and I mean, you guys have your solar panels, and there's people, and like, I mean, it seems fine. Well, I mean, not the people
hanging around. So, what's to say you don't turn into another Ingram?
It's Ingram.
Oh, that's where we're from. Well, we were. I mean, my mom is there, but I don't know if we could go back there. But
it's just me bitching, I think. No, we're just kind of used to doing what we want to, what we need to, not having somebody tell us what to do. I'm sure we'll get over it.
But if he's just, what's he telling you to do? If it's a matter of staying alive and supporting the organization, is it that bad?
I mean, I used to be on watch. We used to get to go out every once in a while, right? Like, I had a suit. It was, confiscated. They needed the parts.
I look at the two of you horror-stricken and start to move towards the door.
I mean, at least now, and now I have to work up there.
Work up there meaning what?
Well, with the machines. Like, that's where nobody wants to work. You know how loud, if you think it's bad down here, it's fucking hell up there. I have to wear my earplugs and my headphones, and they still barely block out the noise. I'm going to be deaf by the time I'm 20.
Maybe we need to go talk to Jensen again, because stuff's not adding up on how he got here and what he's actually doing here. and what the meaning of him being here doing stuff is. So I think we may need to go talk to him again.
We shouldn't have left the suits. We shouldn't have left the suits.
Let's head back to our suits, because anything that Smokey needs to cause pain on someone is probably attached to his suit. And we need to have some discussions with Jensen. So, he'll look to Lily and just say, all right, we're going to try to figure some stuff out here. But if there's anything else you can tell us, to give us some more information would be helpful, but we're going to go get this sorted out.
I mean, all I know is, like, the only real project we've had lately is hooking up their stupid computers up front.
Do you think that's where the signal's coming in? I mean, unless it's local. I mean, I guess if it's local, it's fine. Everything is sealed, right? I mean,
What are you talking about?
the people who look like users inside. There has to be like a signal coming from somewhere. Like,
I don't know. I mean, have you seen? And she kind of like taps on her wall. She's like, if you think this is thick, like, nothing's getting in. You don't have to worry about that.
have they hurt anybody?
I mean, not lately. Like, there was a little bit of a resistance. Like, a couple of people kind of put up a little piss, but they haven't attacked. Like, Jansen hasn't attacked anybody. So, and in general, people have been, kind of falling in line.
I don't know that Huxley would ask that. Maybe he would. How many? Is it just him? I mean, there were guards. Were those the guards that were here before? Did he bring other people in?
No, it was just him that came in. At that point, like, once he came in and the council agreed to become a part of the organization, they did restructuring. But, some people were pushed up top, other people were moved down. But, it's been like that for a couple weeks now. Like, little by little, they move people around.
Yeah, I think we need to talk to Jensen and find out what's going on here. I think that's what it's coming down to in my mind.
Do you have you said you've been like outside before. You had a suit, but you have been in Ingram. Where have you been to? Have you been anywhere other than just kind of like outside?
No, I've just been here. I've done some scrap runs here and there, but we're not exactly flush with power around here. So we have just enough to kind of charge up a battery for a few blocks, get us out and back. That's about it. I mean, hell, you want to know a pretty sick secret? And fucking Dog called it his leash. When he was out on when he was out on watch duty up top, like, we actually have cable that runs out so that he can stay up there. Like, they didn't even have the power to just have him sit out there for a few hours. He hated it.
How are we gonna charge our suits then? We have 3 suits and a battery. I mean, we're not going to be able to get very far.
You're not telling me you guys are actually plugged into this place right now, are you?
Yeah, we were out of power when we got here.
Oh.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, hell, you're gonna get power. You're just gonna be taking it from somewhere else.
Well, why doesn't? I mean, you guys have all those panels up there. Why doesn't? Didn't they wire it right? I mean, what's?
Well, yeah, but that barely keeps this place running.
Do you know where Dog went?
I mean, we had heard a little bit ago that there was a new scrub that opened up in the south. You know, he took his chance.
Do you know how far? Did he say? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, for his sake, I hope it wasn't too far. Poor fucker might be just stranded out there right now. I mean, at least and when she kind of like looks at you and goes wide-eyed a little bit and then like sinks into the chair again.
When he what?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, it's obviously something.
He'll be fine. He's fine out there.
Okay, well, there's obviously more of a connection than we thought. So why don't you fill us in, and then I promise that we'll get all this shit sorted out, but you've got to help us a bit.
Why don't you give me a presence test? We're going to see if you can coax her into relaxing a little bit.
Okay, do I get any bonuses for my
You have talker, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
All right. And that is a 7.
Nice. Yes. So she kind of you see like tears well up in her eyes slightly, and she kind of like wipes it away. And she's like, he's different. He'll be fine.
Okay, we're all a bit different, but why don't you narrow in on why he's different?
The reason that me and him were usually the ones out there is because, I mean, we're just not as worried about being out there, out in the gap is all.
Oh, because we saw the other Mr. They're from Tizane before, right?
And she looks at you and she's like, I'm sorry, what? You...
And then he looks at Smokey, he looks at her like, oh shit.
And at that point, she kind of like slides in the chair and almost looks relaxed. And she's like, oh, so you've been there then?
Yeah, we've been there probably more times than you've been there. So nothing you can say is gonna set us off.
Because I mean, Dog was from there. Like, I guess I was from there. I didn't really. I don't remember it, honestly. I don't
see
remember,
a Lily?
but yeah, you did.
I know we saw a dog. I couldn't remember if we saw a Lily.
Yeah, you saw Lily. That's kind of what first triggered it for Smokey. You saw Lily going into the warehouse.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she at that point kind of relaxes and she's like, okay, all right, yeah. So We're special. So Dog will be fine. Even without the suit, he could kick ass out there. So I'm not too worried about him.
Mr. Smokey, if we can go, Miss Lily, do you want to come with us? Do you want to stay here?
Where are you going?
I don't know. Nowhere if the suits don't charge.
If the suits pull a charge out, you said it pulls it from somewhere else. Where is that pulling that from?
From the grid, period. Like this, under the bridge is super delicately balanced with its power reserves. Like I'm surprised they didn't have you clock in at the distro. Like normally they really need to keep that balance where if they're diverting power to one place, they need to make sure that it's not, just straight up killing another area.
Yeah, they wanted us to check in, but we have questions about whether we should be checking in or not.
Well, I think it's actually two different things, right? One, he wanted us to check in, and she told us to go to the distribution thing.
Yeah. So we're kind of unofficial at the moment from an organizational standpoint and from a power standpoint.
Well, I think you're good on one end, kind of fucked on the other then.
What, the power end?
Yeah, they're gonna check up on that.
Jensen told us to plug in. He told us to charge the suits.
What, that cocksucker? He doesn't know shit about this place.
So who's in charge then?
He's kind of the mouthpiece for the organization till someone official shows up, I guess. But it's how we've always run it. Nobody's actually in charge.
We're from the organization.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't totally trust you guys.
He gets a shocked look on his face.
Yeah. He kind of smiles at you. She smiles with that one.
Well, let's put it this way. The organization probably isn't very happy with us at the moment either. So swings and roundabouts.
Well, I'd suggest you check up on yourself because once distro realizes that power is being pulled to a unregistered location, they're going to check up on it. I'll tell you what.
I think we need to go get our suits now.
Yeah. I'll head up top, see if maybe I can swing a little something, even things out. I can at least buy you a little bit of time, but they're going to find out eventually.
Do you want me to come up and help? I'm pretty good with mechanics and stuff.
Hell yeah, another hand ain't going to hurt.
Okay. Is that okay with you guys?
Absolutely.
Can you trigger Bob and Charlie when you get down there? They're the bots for the thing. They can help.
Just tell us what we have to do, and we will do that.
How do I? You got to pop them from like just like a risk thing to like.
Yeah, it's just on. You've done it before from your readout. It's from your UI. So.
Okay. Just direct them up. They'll find me.
Send them to you.
Yeah, maybe like with the phone or the watch or something that can like pick up the signal or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh shit! I might
All
need.
right.
Oh, he doesn't say shit. Oh, I might need my tools. Do you have extra tools?
And she kind of looks over and grabs. She has like a tool satchel, and she kind of reaches over, throws it at you, and she's like, "You can borrow mine. I have more up top."
Oh, okay, that works.
Okay, well, this puts a bit of clarity on it because I was ready to go grab my gun and shoot Jensen in the head. But if that's not going to do anything, then
Mr. Smokey.
maybe we've got to look.
And
We,
she looks at
we
you and
always
she's
get-
like, "I mean, no one's saying it won't." And she kind of gives you like this little smirking shrug.
all right, that's still an option. I'll keep that in. I'll keep that in my back pocket. But we
Don't
gotta get
encourage
charged up.
him.
We got to get charged up. We got to find some tanks, and we got to figure out where the hell we're going next.
All right, and she's like, "All right, kid, you come with me."
Okay.
So you're going up, and then Zuchy and I are going to go back to the suits, then, right?
All right. So yeah, and
Is the
as
ru-
you begin to leave, she goes, "Oh, hey, real quick," and she like reaches into her coveralls, and she goes, "Told you I'd get this back to you," and she tosses you back your lighter.
Smokey grabs it out of the air and just says, "Well, if I got to burn this place down, at least I have something to start it up with."
No, just let me know. I'll get you a couple of rags.
Smokey will wink at her.
What were you gonna say, Kurt?
Is the roof outside? Wouldn't Huxley be wouldn't Anne affect you if you're outside?
I don't think if she intends outside, I don't think Huxley pick up on it.
Okay.
No, she's still everything is still contained. You know, it's basically all the inner workings right up at the top.
Okay.
So it's like the under the roof, basically, just under the bridge.
Sounds good.
But on
Yeah.
top, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, Hux and Lily go up. Smokey and Zuchy get down. So
Yeah, we do.
as as Smokey and Zuchy are kind of coming down the the lattice work staircases outside, you go down about a level and a half, and you can actually see now your 3 suits standing there, all plugged in, and you see 3 people standing around your suits.
Do we recognize them?
You do not.
Okay. Smokey will just put a big smile on his face and say, "Thanks for keeping an eye on our suits. We were just coming to check on them."
And they're at this point, they have, like, let's say Huxley's suit. Like, one of them actually has, like, is attempting to, like, interface with the UI on the wrist.
Hey buddy, I wouldn't be doing that. That's not your suit, and the owner would get a bit upset if you start messing with it.
And his head kind of like snaps over to you. He says, "Don't leave your stuff around then if you don't want people messing with it."
And that's why we came back to get our stuff.
And he'll just say, "Well, finders keepers then." And he turns away from you back to the suit.
Smokey's gonna punch him in the back of the head.
Well, you can absolutely try to do that then.
All right. And that is 4.
All right.
I mean, it's surprise, right? Like, does he turns away, doesn't see him doing it.
He is turned away, correct. So you go to punch him in the back of the head, right? Turn away from you. You basically go to swing at him. And he's still staring down at the readout. And you go to swing and he just goes and his head moves to the side and your swing just goes right past his head. And at that point, the other 2 guys now that were there, their heads kind of almost like about face, like abruptly turn towards Smokey.
I'll look over to Zuchy.
Zuchy is going to go and try to tackle both of them at the same time.
Oh, all right. So this is going to be with a snag because you're trying to hit 2 people at once. So you're going to be rolling in a negative. But yeah, go ahead and try.
Okay. Can I use my survivor?
Absolutely.
Or protector?
Protector, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, protector. Okay. Now, because I'm trying to go after 2 guys, is this an agility or is this a might check?
No, it's agility, yeah. We'll say, because that feels like kind of what you fight with, right? You don't fight with power, you fight with speed and accuracy.
That is a 9 total.
Nice. Yeah, so how do you go about trying to attack these 2 guys?
Okay, so basically they're gonna, kind of come towards Smokey, like they're, trying to protect their friend. And basically he's gonna come like he's going to kind of tackle them with both of his arms and kind of bring them to the ground, but also to also use their momentum to kind of flip himself over and then be back on his feet once he's gotten them to the ground.
Nice. So yeah, you go to try to tackle these 2 guys down. You both your arms smack right into these guys. You knock them down and you go to flip over. They also carry with you in momentum. And so you have clearly hurt them. However, you flip back up and each one of them has now grabbed your arm. And you're now staring directly at both of them. And you see a flash of blue in their eyes.
Fuck. I knew it.
And we'll go ahead and call it there.
And then my mom said,
say,
they were a bad influence, but I told her that they were my friends. And I really don't know what she means because, they're always protecting me.
See, Smokey wasn't wrong.
I was going to say,
I'm going to take this place over.
I was going to say, when I saw the blue in their eyes, they were going to see the red in my eyes.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
There you go.
Bastards.
Nice. All right. Well, fuck me, I guess.
Don't you mean fuck us?
Well, yeah. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching. We had people bouncing in and out all night. Kurt, what do you got going on over at the MFG cast?
Still got our board game goodness. Recently, we talked about a couple of games that we had played. Also coming out actually this week, the week of April 27th and on, I released a new interview with John Moffat. He just designed a game called Night Soil, which is about picking up human waste. Believe me, it sounds a lot better than it actually seems when I actually said it the way I said it. But seems like a fun game. His game is coming out on Kickstarter on the 29th, so go check that out. But also check out the interview because he talks about his research into it and how he made a game that seemingly sounds like crap, pun intended, into something fun. So, and then we also have our role-playing stuff that we come up every other week after that. So we've got Core Noir, and we also have D&D. So check that out.
Sweet. Is Osprey putting out that game? I forget.
Grail Games is putting out
Grail Games. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Cool. All right. Yep. We have our Patreon up if you want to throw a couple of bucks our way. We have a link in the show notes for all the things. We have a link in there for our Resist t-shirts, which I wore yesterday instead of tonight. So if you are upset with everything that's happening, not that a t-shirt changes anything, but just a visual reminder to people that they are not alone. We're donating all profits for all t-shirt sales from the TeePublic stores to trans causes, LGBTQIA causes. It's the least we can do. So if you're interested in that, we appreciate you buying t-shirts or telling someone if you think they may want to buy a t-shirt. Ratings and reviews on iTunes or whatever your podcatcher of choice is probably helpful. I don't know. The numbers go up and down all the time, so who can say? I'm actually working on Core Cthulhu again, so that's cool for me. Not that anybody necessarily cares, but that is actually something that's getting worked on again. Shit, anything else? Is that it? I don't know. I hate this part of the show.
How do we say goodbye?
That's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's it. All right. Thanks, everybody.
That's all we got until Kevin starts up a podcast.
We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.
Peace.
Bye.